Okay, let's get started. Thanks to everyone who joined, and anybody who registered but didn't get on will receive a recording of this after the presentation, as well as we will share out the slide deck to anybody who wants it as well. Today, we are going to be talking about our new Enhanced AppOne bidirectional integration. I think this is something that people have long awaited, and we're excited to share it with you. We're pretty proud of how this came out, and think it's going to add a lot of value to our dealers and create a lot of efficiencies. So with that, I want to do a couple quick introductions. I'll introduce myself. I'm Matt. I am the Director of Sales and Dealer Relations here at IDS for the RV division. And prior to coming on with IDS, I spent 20 years on the retail side of RV dealerships, doing about every job in the business you can imagine. And with me today, I've got Jeannie. She's our product manager. She's the person who has been overseeing this project and this initiative. And I'll let her give a brief introduction.
Hi, I'm Jeannie Mahoney. I'm a product manager at IDS, and my focus area has been sales and F&I. And I'm really excited that we get to present the AppOne Enhanced Integration to you all today. The team and I have been working on this one for a while, and throughout the course of that, we've talked to a lot of our customers, collected a lot of feedback, and one of the number one requests that we got from our customers was to be able to start the process in AppOne and pull that loan app data into IDS. So we built it, and I'm really pleased we get to walk through that today.
All right, well, let's jump into it. So today we're going to cover the problems that exist in current state. We're going to talk about how this solution enhances it and why it would make sense for you to leverage this solution within the software and some of the key benefits that it's going to provide you. And then we'll get into how it works, how we roll, what the implementation looks like, what's involved there. And then we'll try and leave some time at the end where people can ask questions. We'll also do a demonstration of how it actually functions within the system as well. So with that, let's jump into what are the problems that we have in F&I today, given the current disconnect between the DMS and the AppOne loan processing application. First, and probably the most painful thing is the current need to do a lot of duplicate entry. IDS in its current state does allow to push deal information from the DMS to AppOne, but we have traditionally not allowed information to come back into IDS, or at least if there is that allowance, it's been very, very limited in what it can do. And this results in the need to re-enter information into the DMS when an update is made in AppOne. Whether that update is an entirely new application that comes into the system or into AppOne directly, or whether it's just an update we make, like we sell a suite of F&I products, or we need to update buyer, co-buyer information, money information, things like that. There's never been any way to pull that back. So it requires that you go back into the DMS and make those updates, or in the case where an application goes into AppOne directly, you have to create that from scratch. You might even have to create the entire customer profile. If they're a new customer, you have to create the deal. So there's just a lot of manual rekeying, which in addition to time being a time suck, it also creates the opportunity for errors to be entered. Items not to match the DMS and AppOne when we're posting deals. I don't know if it's familiar to anybody, but I would have, in our dealerships, I would have our controllers complaining quite often that when they are getting ready to post a deal, they have AppOne up and they have the DMS up and they don't match. And then they're forced to go chase down the finance manager and figure out why. That's a result of this manual entry in this disconnected system. And it also creates the potential for duplicate records. Specifically in AppOne, when a loan application comes into AppOne directly, you are then forced to manually enter that into IDS. There's no way to tie that IDS quote or deal to that original application. And so if you want to leverage the current push integration, it creates a duplicate record in AppOne that then you have to keep straight. So those are kind of the high level problems that exist in its current state. So now we want to talk about why this enhanced feature helps to resolve some of those. And I'm going to turn it over to Jeannie to talk through some of that for you.
So with this new AppOne Enhanced integration, we now have a true two-way data flow. So uh, it was designed to keep maximum flexibility to allow for dealers to choose the workflow that works best for their process. So whether they want to start in IDS, whether they want to start it in AppOne, and then have any updates made in either platform flow back and forth between the two. And one of the things that we really set out to do with this, we really wanted to reduce the manual data entry to give F&I managers back more time. So instead of having to switch screens, check spelling, or enter in field by field, now with the AppOne Enhanced integration, you can just pull the data over, review the display, and hit update, and then move on. It's also going to really help move deals faster, especially for our dealers that are starting their process in AppOne. So the automated data transfer is going to keep systems running smoothly with the added protection of preventing those typos and spelling errors from creeping in, which Matt mentioned can have, worst case scenario, impact the cash flows down the line.
Yeah, that's great. So, we've talked about what the practical improvements are now. So now we want to talk about what does this do in terms of real benefit to the dealership. Um,
Yeah,
so
so
talk to us about that.
So now that we can save F&I managers more time, they can actually switch their attention to higher impact activities that are directly going to drive profits, like upselling the protection products or negotiating with lenders. So even a small time savings per deal is going to add up here, meaning more deals processed, more opportunities per customer, and ultimately all of this sets your team up for success to deliver more units.
Yeah, something that I experienced in our dealerships running F&I teams was that to maximize our profitability in F&I, we had to spend a lot of time working on structuring the deal properly, identifying the best lenders that are going to maximize our back end, determining how we want to structure that back end product. What do we want to move to the front? What do we want to keep on the back when applicable? Um, Working with those customers back and forth, taking a preemptive turn at the time of sell to meet the customer. All of these things take time, and we get really good about it when things slow down. But when things are really busy, given the seasonality that most of us experience in this business, we find that we have less time for those things, and one by one, those extra effort items start to fall off as we just try to keep up with the number of deals that come in. So when we can start to save these F&I managers time, and we estimate that this time savings could be in upwards of 20 minutes per deal, depending on the situation, we enable them to do these extra steps or these extra effort steps to ensure that we're maximizing our profitability.
Yeah, absolutely. And in addition to that, so we talked about reducing the typos and any clerical errors. So another benefit of being able to do that up front is you're going to get more accurate and cleaner data sets. And when the data is cleaner, you're going to get better analysis when you're identifying any sort of trends or insights that'll help you make decisions down the line. And we do have some reporting that we'll talk about a bit later that helps with that visibility.
Yeah. Yeah. The better the data, the better the decisions we're going to make. That's just self-explanatory. And so this is just another area where we can help clean that up and tighten all that up so that you're making good decisions. So we've talked about what the problems we're trying to solve are, what the benefits to solving those problems are. So now let's get into the meat of it and talk about how it works. And Jeannie's going to help show us that by starting with the import process. Application comes into AppOne. What do we do with it?
So it's Pretty straightforward. The only thing you have to do to kick off the import process is just collect that AppOne ID number at the top of the screen. And once you've copied that number, you'll move over to IDS. And this here is our new loan import screen. So once you have that AppOne ID number, you'll just paste it into that top field and hit import. And the import process, there's three categories of information we're gonna be pulling over. The first one's customer. This one's pretty self-explanatory. You can see the customer information that we're pulling over from IDS here or from AppOne here. And we have a tool that's going to help prevent duplicate records at this step. So if the system detects a name match, it's going to pull up that name match for you. And that looks like this. And at this point, you can decide whether you want to proceed with creating a totally new customer record in IDS, or you can opt to link this customer record with the one you're pulling over from AppOne. So that's just an added step that will help keep your data clean, as we mentioned before. And the next category is the collateral tab. So the first details that display on this tab are going to be the unit of interest that's pulling in from AppOne. And if that unit matches something that you have in your inventory already, you will get a recommended unit pop up here at the bottom. If that's not the unit you want to use, you still have the option to go click search for existing stock, and a search screen will pull up, and then you can search your inventory by color or brand or a number of different criteria there. This collateral tab is also going to give you the opportunity to review any dealer options or sales extras that were entered on the AppOne side if that's part of your process. One other note on this tab is if you if you don't want to select a unit at this phase in the import, you don't have to complete the import. You can bypass it, for example, if you need to use unit build in the FI quote. But where we think this step is going to come in handy is anytime the team is in a time crunch. For example, if the team's at a show, this step is going to allow them to quickly select the unit that they want to push into the quote and then move on to the next. So that's the collateral tab. And the third category is structure. So this page is going to summarize the deal structure information that's pulling over from AppOne. And it also has a section at the bottom where you can review products and fees. So if you're using a third-party menu selling tool that's pulling in products for you into AppOne, you can now pull those through and have visibility on which ones are coming over into the FI quote. And the very last step for the import process is you're going to just have to choose if you want to create a new F&I quote with this data you're pulling from AppOne, or if you're in the middle of working a deal, you can associate it with an existing quote too. And that's the last step for the import.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Jeannie. So the next question would be, once I've imported it or created a deal in IDS and I've got it in AppOne and I'm working out of one system or the other, if I make a change in AppOne, how do I retrieve that information back to an existing deal?
So we have some added visibility now that you're going to be able to pull any changes you're making in AppOne back into IDS, review it before you pull it into the quote. And you can do that from this Manage AppOne application screen. This screen is going to be your reference point to track all previous submissions for this F&I quote. And on the left, you'll see the AppOne ID that we're pulling the changes in from. In the middle, we have some various submission log data. And then on the very right, you'll see three icons. The first one is View in AppOne. So that's simply a shortcut to open the AppOne portal for you. If you need to quickly reference something in AppOne, you can click on that button. The middle button is the Retrieve button. That's the one we're going to click on to pull over the updates from AppOne. And the third button is e-files, and that's going to allow you to view or download any of the documents that you may have saved on the AppOne side, just straight from your screen in G2. So for the example where we're pulling changes back into IDS, you would go ahead and click that middle button. And then what you're going to see next is the retrieve wizard, which is from a high level at first going to just showcase to you which categories of information that you're pulling over have differences. And then all you have to do to drill down into those differences is just click on the red text. And then a more detailed view is going to pop up, which will allow you to compare the changes that you're pulling over into IDS that have been made. Um, we also have some checks and balances in the system to that'll help you quickly identify which items are coming over or not. So this is the more detailed view that you can review everything. And if everything's looking good, you just go ahead and hit update, and then those changes are going to be pulled into the F&I quote. Or if you decide you need to make some further changes, you just cancel out of here and then make those changes in either platform. And that's the last step of the retrieve.
That's great. One thing I want to call out here, we're not talking about the IDS2 AppOne push. If you haven't utilized that in the past, reach out to your account manager directly and we'll walk you through setting that part of it up. Most of our dealers leverage that already. That part hasn't changed. That's why we're not going into it. So if you were to make changes in IDS that you then wanted to push to AppOne, you would still have the ability to do that. So all of this that happens in the direction we've shown still happens in reverse the same way you've always done it. So the next thing we want to talk about is accountability. How do I ensure people are using it? How can I see what's been done? How can I see exceptions to the imports or the integration, so to speak? And so that's what we'll go into now.
So we have some expanded reporting that's just going to help certain dealers with that visibility that we mentioned. And one of the first options you have is to be able to track any sort of exceptions that keep coming up on the retrieve. So if there's a certain exception that keeps popping up, that might signal that you want to adjust the field mapping for that so it doesn't pop up anymore. And it's just going to give you some visibility on where to maybe streamline operations. The AppOne application retrieve report, which is also available, is going to give you high-level visibility on usage, and that includes across locations. So you can really get a good sense of how and when it's being used. And if you need something more detailed at the quote level, we have that available too. So you also have access to quote specific audit trail. And essentially all of these reports are going to act as your audit trail too. And that's the expanded reporting we have.
That's great. The next thing that comes up obviously is, okay, this all sounds great. You've convinced me that this is something I should be using. How do I use it? How do we implement it? And that. So we'll talk about that at a high level here. So with the setup is pretty straightforward, and we will have our professional services team heading up the onboarding for any dealer who wants to take this on, because there are some things that have to happen. Lenders have to be set up. We have to make sure the user permissions are set right. We have to ensure that the field mapping is correct, because that's expanded now. So there are some things that do have to happen that are going to involve PSG, but we're going to walk you through and hold your hand the whole step of the way and help you get that set up. And then there is training involved as well. We have LMS resources, as well as PSG will run you through actually using it. The good news about this initiative is that it is really straightforward. It's very easy to use. And so we anticipate this part is going to be pretty easy to do. So with that, we're ready. We're prepared to open it up to some questions, and I do have a couple in here. The first thing I've got here is a question that says, where is this located in IDS, or is this config that has to be turned on? So yes, you do need to reach out to your account manager. This does need to be added to your account. There is a nominal cost to it. They can talk to you about what that is when you reach out to them. but it does have to be enabled. And then, like I just said, there is some setup required. So if you're looking for it right now, all excited, it's not there. You do need to reach out to your respective account managers, Kevin or Wiley, for them to get that turned on for you. But it's a pretty painless process, and we can have it done very quickly for you. That's the only direct question I've got in there right now. Let's see. If we make changes in IDS, can they push to AppOne as well? Yes, they can. That process exists in the same way it does today. If that's not something you're currently leveraging today, if you're not doing that or you're unaware of it, we can give you a personalized demo. When you reach out to your account manager, we'll actually just share a screen with you or hop on a quick Teams, and we'll actually click through it and demo it for you. And we can do that in both directions if you need to see that. So if you already use that push, it operates the same way it always has. Let's see. Sorry, got another question here. I can't see the whole thing. Yes, if you're already using the integration with AppOne to push, it does require additional, I shouldn't say a second setup, it's additional setup. There are additional steps to get this moving and get it activated. So again, reach out to your account manager directly to get that done, and they will get everything squared away for you. They are on standby. Let's see. Is this live now? So we just have to get it set up. Yes, it's live now. You just need to get it set up. You reach out to your account manager. We can get this set up for you. We should have it turned around and ready for you to start using in less than 3 weeks is the maximum. Really, it's going to be less than that, but just to make sure that we're giving plenty of time, we're not over promising something here. It's 3 weeks or less to have it completely set up, mapped, and ready to use. Will collateral verification help with VIN errors? I guess the short answer is if it will, if the VIN is correct in AppOne, but it's not going to prevent you from erroneously entering the VIN into AppOne. So if the VIN, if it will help in matching the VIN. So if you have a VIN in AppOne and a VIN in IDS and they don't match, and that's due to fat fingering or miskeying or that duplicate entry process, that will go away. Yes, we'll be sending out a link to the video afterwards. We'll also include the slide deck for anyone that wants it. Can this be accomplished through blue screen or only G2? It is only G2. So you could leverage blue screen for working your deals for everything you currently do, but the import wizard is only accessible through G2. So you would still need to actually import the loan through G2. You could then toggle back and work it in blue screen. There's nothing preventing you from doing it there once the update's been made, but there's no access to the import wizard through blue screen. What is your definition of nominal? Good question. So that it's a tiered rate varied by number of rooftops, and it is a per rooftop rate. Reach out to your account managers; they'll talk to you about specifics. But the most it's going to cost is $195 a rooftop per month. For boat dealers that have multiple units, separate sales taxes in G2, how does that work with AppOne's sales tax field? Jeannie, is this a question you can answer, or is this one that we need to get back to this person directly on?
Yeah, I mean, I might need a bit more context, but just high level. So you do have the ability to compare taxes between AppOne and IDS, but any tax information is not included in the data flow. It's literally just presented for comparison purposes only, and IDS remains the source of truth for all tax information.
I hope that answered your question, Allison. If it didn't, go ahead and reach out to either your account manager directly, and we can give you more information on that or get specific use case details. If an applicant or co-applicant is swapped in AppOne, can the change be pulled into IDS?
I'm going to need to double check that one because right now we don't have the co-buyer included on the import. That would be something that we're targeting for an enhancement in the future. So I guess short answer is probably no in this first iteration.
And Jeffrey, we can get you more information about what the continued roadmap is for this. If you reach out to your account manager, we can give you some specifics on that. Will this push back-end products, retail price, and profits from AppOne over to the insurance section in IDS?
Yes.
Easy, short answer. Let's see. Sorry, got lots of questions. We're trying to get through them here. We may have to end and then answer some of these offline, but I'll get through as many as I can over the next 4 minutes. Where do I go to see the AppOne push and pull info in IDS? We start our deals in IDS, not AppOne.
So the manage loan application screen that you'll access through the F&I quote and loan processing position on the functions menu is going to open up that screen for you. And that's where you'll be able to see all of the previous submissions, pushes and pulls. And we can like specify exactly where you can find that, but it's in IDS.
I think this question from Robert Gleason is one we're probably going to have to answer directly because I think we probably need it's a little bit of a complicated multi-part question. So Robert, we will reach out to you via email directly on this. There's a couple pieces to this, and I want to make sure that we're answering this accurately. We initiate an IDS, push to AppOne, we'll back in through menu metrics, etc., push back into IDS. The short answer is yes, backend pushes back into IDS, but it has to get into AppOne. So you can menu metrics and some of these other menuing systems do integrate with AppOne if you're not already leveraging those. So as long as you're leveraging that integration and the information is getting into AppOne, it does come back into IDS. It said, then last question again, just to reiterate, Clay, where do I get the video materials for this? I messed up with different times. No problem at all. We understand people register for this and then things come up or we miss times or we're just not able to attend. So this recording will be shared out to everybody who registered automatically. And if you'd like a copy of the presentation deck, reach out to your account manager and we'll get you a copy of the deck as well. And also, if you want to see a personalized demo, a live demo in our demo system, we can show you that too if you reach out to your account manager. And with that, I think there actually are still a couple other questions, but we are right at the end of this. So we will take the additional questions offline, respond to each of you via email. Or you can, again, reach out to one of these handsome looking gentlemen on the screen here, Kevin or Wiley. Everyone should know one of these two gentlemen. They're available to take your call. Also, you can reach out to me directly at matt.richards@ids-astra.com, and I can help you out as well. So with that, we're going to let everybody get back to their day. We appreciate all the attendees. We appreciate the active engagement and all the questions. And we hope to talk to each of you more about this.
Thanks, everyone.